What's good, Steeler Nation? My name is Jack Sperry, and this is Steelers Talk, and we have a loaded show for you guys today. 3 huge topics. We're going to be talking about Bill Cowher's comments on Kenny Pickett last Sunday, some very interesting stuff there, how the Steelers can quickly rebuild in a year or two, and then stay tuned for my crazy prediction, all right? That's going to be coming at the end of the show, so you have to stick around to see my crazy prediction today. But before we get into all the action, why did you click on this video today? I'm guessing it's because you're looking for some high-quality Steelers content, news and rumors, analysis, all that good stuff. The good news for you guys is that we do that every single day here on Steelers Talk. So if you want to join our family here at Steelers Talk, consider subscribing. We do it every single day. And so if you love the Steelers, you want to get the news and rumors, you want to get the analysis, and you want to know more than the next guy about the Pittsburgh Steelers, consider joining our family today. Press that subscribe button and help us get to 19K. We're about, 290 away from 19K, so help us out today. Click that big red button, or I think it's a black button now with the new update on YouTube. So click that button, subscribe to the channel today, and join the Steelers Talk family. Now let's get into some very interesting comments that former Steelers coach and Super Bowl champion Bill Cowher made on rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett and how the Steelers are handling his rookie season. He said, "You're transitioning into a new quarterback, okay? And right now I get worried about his confidence because I've seen this happen to other quarterbacks. Take the ball out of his hands. Don't ask him to do as much as you're asking him to do." He also says it's about a philosophy on offense that says, listen, what's the best part of your team? It's going to be your defensive side. That's worn down after a period of time. There's no margin for error there. You have to somehow shorten a game with that quarterback, and it goes back to running the ball. I'd put him back there under center. Don't put him back there to get sacked 6 times today. And essentially what Cowher is saying here is that right now the team is asking too much of Kenny Pickett, and they need to run the ball more. They need to go with Najee Harris. They need to go with Jaylen Warren. They need to run the ball more often. Now, I think the reason why they're throwing so much with Kenny is because the Steelers are down. Early on in games, they are running the rock. It's just they're not scoring, and they're getting behind, and they have to throw the ball with Pickett in the second half. But at the end of the day, I do agree. At the end of the day, the strength of this team is its defense, especially when T.J. Watt comes back. Hopefully William Jackson III pans out as that new cornerback for the Steelers, but you have to lean into that strength of your team, and to do that, you have to shorten games by effectively running the football. And it seems like every single week now we're saying that was a terrible rushing performance by the Pittsburgh Steelers, because it usually is. Najee Harris has been an incredible disappointment this year. Jaylen Warren has looked good in his limited action. I think he should be getting some more reps as well. But at the end of the day, this run game definitely needs to get better, and Cowher addressed that this weekend. So is Pittsburgh ruining Kenny Pickett's confidence by playing him too early? Sound off in the comments what you guys think. You think that Kenny Pickett's confidence is being ruined by Mike Tomlin playing him too early before he is ready? Let me know in the comments what you guys think. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So whenever there's an ad break, go down to the comments section and give your answer to this question. Guys, when it comes to Kenny Pickett's confidence, I think this is one of those things where it's either he's going to have it or he's not. There's no doubt about it that with the Steelers playing him right now, he's going through some adversity, right? The run game isn't helping him out. The defense hasn't had T.J. Watt out there. He's facing some adversity right now. But here's the thing. NFL quarterbacks, they deal with adversity all the time, and you're going to have to overcome adversity in your career. If you're going to win Super Bowls, playoffs, division titles, this is the sort of thing that Kenny Pickett is going to have to get used to. And if he can't handle it, he ain't it, guys. He isn't going to be the guy that's going to be the QB of the future in Pittsburgh. He needs to be somebody that can overcome these kinds of obstacles, and this is a perfect opportunity to introduce him to life in the NFL. So if he can rise above it and show that he can make growth and progress even in this kind of adverse kind of time, it's only going to show his mental toughness, and it's only going to get him more ready for the trials to come. But right now, guys, he can't be benched. He has to play. He has to play a lot, and he needs to get a lot of reps. He needs to learn how to play against the speed of NFL defenses. He needs to learn how to overcome adversity and really problem solve is another big one, because right now there's lots of problems to be solved with the Steelers offense, and he needs to be able to solve those problems on the fly so that he can do it later on against some of the best defenses in football and in some of the biggest moments of his career. So if he wants to be a success in the NFL, he needs to rise above that adversity. And if he crumbles under this adversity, it's only proof that he's not going to be the guy of the future in Pittsburgh. So coming up, I'm going to tell you how the Steelers can rebuild in about a year or two and become a winner again. But before I do, I'm going to introduce you to the new sponsor here at Chat Sports. It's called Established Titles. And if you've ever wanted to be called a lord or a lady, this is the perfect promotion for you. All right? This is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping reforestation efforts because they plant a tree with every order, guys. So it's based on a Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, or lords and ladies in English. So if you get a title pack from Established Titles, you are going to get 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Eddleston, Scotland. You're watching the video that we have of the estate right now. And you could officially include the title Lord or Lady on your credit cards, plane tickets, dating profiles, whatever. Here is a picture of the certificate that you will get with a crest. And the first 200 people that purchase a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot, okay? Right now, I am Lord Sperry, guys. I have a plot of land in Eddleston, Scotland. If you want a plot of land next to mine, you got to use the link that we have here. Okay, so you got to go to establishedtitles.com/chat, or you got to use that link so that you can save an extra 10% on the perfect holiday gift for, the person in your family that's really in the Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon or The Crown, where they use the terms lords and ladies a lot. If you want to be the perfect gift giver this Christmas season, go to establishedtitles.com/chat to get your 10% off your title pack today. Now, let's get into the juicy stuff here, how Pittsburgh can quickly rebuild. And I'm not talking about 3 to 4 years, guys. I'm talking about by next season. So number 1 on the list, this is a must. You got to fire Matt Canada, guys. You have to. He needs to be gone. He should be gone now, but it seems like they're going to roll with him for now. But the good news is that he's likely going to be gone by next season. Let's take a look at these awful numbers, guys. This is just garbage. 32nd, dead last in the league in yards per play, 31st in yards per completion, so we're not very explosive in the pass game whatsoever. On third down, we're 28th, and in the red zone, we're 27th, and that just shows bad coaching. That shows bad game planning, bad scheme, and overall it's just not very good. So here is what I want to see from the next offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want someone that builds an offense around players, not players around the scheme. That's what we have right now, and it's a disaster. Number 2, it needs to be a QB-friendly system. So if it's Pickett or somebody else under center, it needs to be something that's simpler for the QB to execute. Right now, it's a very pro-style offense, and Kenny Pickett is struggling in it, so the next guy needs to simplify things for Kenny Pickett. And then the next, someone that utilizes new school concepts. I don't want someone that's like Matt Canada running 6 stick concepts in a game from empty. It's just come on, guys. We're not living in the 1980s or the 1990s. This is 2022. We need some new school concepts. So here are some names that I would consider just off the top of my head here. Brian Griese, the quarterback coach from San Francisco. He's seen every offense there is to see in the National Football League as a former pro, and now he's learning under Kyle Shanahan in that offense. So I would love to bring that Shanahan-style offense to Pittsburgh because they really tailor those offenses to the personnel. I think Griese and then also Bobby Slowick from the 49ers, their pass game coordinator, I think would be an excellent addition. And then also the McVay tree there in LA, Thomas Brown and Zach Robinson, tight end coach, QB coach, both of them are very well seen or well taken in NFL circles. They're both being considered for NFL head coaching positions next season. So if we could land one of them as the next Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator, I would love that. And then my number 1 guy actually that I would love to see is Darrell Bevell, who is the QB coach in Miami. He's been an offensive coordinator in this league for a long time, has called plays for a long time, and now he went to Shanahan University with Mike McDaniels there in Miami, and he's learning a heck of a lot there. So I would love to see him take that Shanahan offense to the Steelers as well. So at the end of the day, guys, the offensive coordinator is an absolutely crucial piece to the foundation of this rebuild because Mike Tomlin isn't an offensive guy. He's a defensive guy, so he needs someone by his side to run the offense that's competent. Right now, Matt Canada is arguably the worst offensive coordinator in the National Football League. It needs to change, and it needs to change fast. All right, number 2 on my list for the Steelers rebuild roadmap is fill the holes on the roster. And there are certainly some areas that the team needs to address by next season if they want to be a winner. Number one cornerback is a big one. We're hoping that William Jackson III can fill that role here, but if he doesn't pan out, they're going to have to draft a number one cornerback next season. Then solid number two inside linebacker. Miles Jack is good, but Lord knows, you guys know how I feel about Devin Bush. He is straight hot garbage, and we need to replace him as fast as possible. And then we need a competent nickel corner. Arthur Maulet's not it either, guys. And right now in the NFL, I mean, it's like every other play they're in nickel coverage. So you need to have a solid nickel cornerback if you're going to be successful running those nickel packages in the National Football League. And right now the Steelers don't have one. Then they also need a legit left tackle. Okay, they need a legit left tackle. Dan Moore Jr. He's just not very good. He's been good in spurts. But at the end of the day, you need someone solid protecting Kenny Pickett or whoever's there in the future. And right now, Dan Moore Jr. is just not cutting it. And then finally, a legit slot receiver. We tried Chase Claypool out in the slot. He was okay, not fantastic. And Calvin Austin Jr. might be filling this role in the future. Maybe Steven Sims really surprises people this year. But that's definitely a spot that I think would be worth addressing as well. And then there's also nose tackle. I will add nose tackle, but because of all the nickel packages that are being run in the NFL right now, nose tackle is a little bit lower on my list. All right, so here are the draft picks that the Steelers have next season. Their first and second rounders most likely going to be pretty high. Then you got Chicago's second rounder next year in the Chase Claypool trade, which is huge, and that could potentially be a top 45 or top 50 pick as well if Chicago doesn't do very well. You got a third rounder, fourth rounder, and then 2 seventh rounders for 7 picks total. So it's not impossible to quickly rebuild this team with young, vibrant talent, guys. It's really not that difficult, especially if you get some pieces in free agency, some veteran pieces. If William Jackson pans out as the new cornerback one, I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But it's not impossible to me for the Steelers to rebuild a winner here in a year or so. But let me know if you guys think I'm crazy in the comments section. Is a quick rebuild possible in Pittsburgh? Type hell yes if you believe in me and you're hopeful for the future for the black and gold, or type hell no if you think I'm crazy and think it's going to take at least a couple of years to get back. Now, finally, my final piece to this roadmap is you got to get the quarterback right. And this is where my crazy prediction of the day comes to fruition, guys. My crazy prediction is that the Steelers are going to consider drafting a quarterback high in next year's NFL draft. I mean, you got to think about it this way, guys. If the Steelers are drafting in the top 10 and Kenny Pickett's not cutting it, you got to think about taking that special talent there at the top of the draft next year. So here are my concerns with Kenny Pickett through the first couple of games. Number one is his mental processing. If he's throwing it to his, if he's in rhythm, it's usually just to his first read. Rarely is he getting to number 2 or number 3. And right now, that was supposed to be his strength coming out of college. So not seeing that on his film is very concerning to me. Number 2 is that he's skittish in the pocket and he doesn't like stepping up in the pocket, right? And this goes back to the mental processing stuff where he's not getting to 2 and 3. Because usually you need to step up in the pocket and find space within the pocket to, deliver it to people, to your second and third and fourth reads. And instead of that, after his first read, he's just trying to leave the pocket and try to scramble and make plays outside of the pocket. And that's not a sustainable way to find success in the National Football League, especially in an offense, a progression-style offense like Matt Canada's. Number 3 is his lack of arm strength. And this is really showing up once again with the mental processing because he's late on a lot of throws. Now, Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, guys with rocket arms, they can get away with being a little late on some reads because they can just fire it in there. But a guy like Kenny Pickett that just has like an okay arm, he has to be incredibly precise. He has to be incredibly precise with his footwork, with his processing, getting it to the guys on time. And right now his footwork's terrible. Plain and simply, it's so choppy. He's throwing off his back foot constantly. It seems like he's scared of the pressure that's coming at him. And it's like, as an NFL quarterback, you cannot be scared of pressure. You just simply can't. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And right now, Pickett is not comfortable whatsoever. I get panicky vibes from him whenever he's in the back of the pocket. But yeah, it's just not fantastic right now, guys. And then finally, you guys are going to make fun of me, but his small hands do matter, guys, especially when he's playing in Pittsburgh in December, in January, when it's wet, when it's rainy, when it's snowy, when it's -20 outside in Cleveland. Like, it's going to matter because you need to grip that football in those inclement conditions, and his small hands is going to make it tough to grip the football when it's snowing outside, when it's negative 20 outside in Pittsburgh or whatever. If it's a cold game or a wet game, it's going to be tough for Kenny Pickett. So those are my concerns with Pickett right now. Plus, he's 24. He's getting up there in age. So if he's not cutting it this year, I think the Steelers should at least consider looking at the top quarterbacks in next year's NFL draft. If you're picking in the top 10 or God forbid the top 5, I mean, you look at the guys on the screen, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Hendon Hooker, Will Levis, all of them are probably going to be top 10 picks in next year's NFL draft. And if you fall in love with one of these guys, like if you fall in love with Hendon Hooker or Will Levis or, maybe Stroud falls a little bit, but I mean, if you fall in love with one of these guys and you don't think Pickett is the future, if he's still having these mental processing issues, the accuracy issues, the footwork issues, if he didn't make any growth this year, he might end up being the next version of Josh Rosen, and the Steelers might look at trying to get a bigger talent to replace him. If Pickett, here's the final argument, guys. If Pickett isn't it, you cannot just waste another season and go with him again. You have to see some growth by the end of the season if you're going to keep him. Because if you're drafting in the top 10, you have the opportunity to draft a special player in the first round at quarterback. You have to take it, guys. I think you probably have to take it. I want to say right now that I'm not necessarily saying the Steelers should absolutely have to take a quarterback because Pickett, there's no way Pickett's going to get better. If Pickett makes progress here, if he can get things going and get some growth and some progress in his mental processing and his footwork, if he gets more comfortable in the pocket, I will be okay with keeping him for another season, especially if he leads this team to like maybe 4 or 5 wins in the second half of the year. I think if he earns it, he should absolutely be the quarterback going into next year. But plain and simply right now, he is not cutting it. And if he doesn't make any growth from here on out, I think you got to consider taking a quarterback at the top of the draft. So which 2023 quarterback should the Steelers target next season? This is the question I am posing to you. And if you want to hear my answer on this, if you want to hear out of those 4 quarterbacks, all right, Young, Stroud, Levis, and Hooker, which one I would take if I had my pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers, go follow and DM me on Twitter. I am at Jack_Sperry. All right, follow and DM me. What do you got? All right, just follow and DM me, and I will give you my answer to that question. I will tell you which quarterback I think the Steelers could very well draft next year. All right, final question here. Should the Steelers consider drafting a quarterback next year? Let me know in the comments section below. If you think I'm crazy, let me know. If you think I'm right and think that Kenny Pickett, or at least the Steelers should consider doing this, put that in the comments as well, guys. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate the heck out of you. Until next time, guys, peace.